lunch and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Coming up now on Prime Time, Adriana Cotero has the latest on the 2 COVID clusters for the island. Plus, a passenger on a flight coming from Honolulu gets COVID positive test results mid-flight. Peter Santos explains. And Isaiah Uggan tells you about a project collecting used car batteries.
Half day and good evening. I'm Tyler Matsinani. We are still not out of the woods. It is still everywhere around us. This is the message public health is sharing to the community as the department yet again takes on the huge task of case finding into the new clusters. KUAM's Adriana Cotero reports.
One individual who played at the basketball game ended up in A lounge, in class A lounge, and exposed the patrons of that establishment. So if you're looking at it, it is just one super spreader walking around
and transmitting the virus. As Governor Lulian Guerrero announced yesterday the identification of 2 known cluster groups, Cluster A being a basketball gathering at a Dededo residence on April 3rd, and Cluster B, a birthday party that occurred at a private residence on April 19th. Acting Chief Public Health Officer Chima Mbakwe.
Now that we've had limited cases, we're doing what we usually do for every case, investigate.
Case-finding investigations are underway by the Department of Public Health to look for more potential positive cases and put a stop to the spread. From each of these clusters, there are multiple connections of positive cases linked. As Mbakwe explains how one connection, the Subaki Tower Hotel, has 84 employees determined as potential contacts and 961 patrons that they are encouraging to get tested.
The Subaki case is very unfortunate because the source was not the hotel. So I just need to make it clear. You know, it was also a private event that happened to have 3 staff of the Subaki Hotel at that venue. So that is number one. Then number 2 is the large number of people that public health is asking to come out to get tested is because at this point, what we're trying to do is cast a wide net.
If you visited the hotel between April 14th to April 18th, Public Health is hosting free COVID-19 testing at the DPHSS Northern Region Community Health Center on Friday, April 23rd and Saturday, April 24th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. In addition, if you were a patron at A-Class Lounge, which is a connection to Cluster A, on or after April 7th, stop by the northern site for free COVID testing. As for the other groups linked to the clusters,
so we have 7 people out there in the community that we don't have access to, that are exposed to a gathering that there was a possible transmission. So now it becomes individual responsibility on the part of those people giving us information to make sure that we get the right information to reach these people.
Mbakwe wants the community to understand that the new cases in these establishments falling victim are from individuals not following public health's guidance to safely congregate. And it all goes back to personal responsibility for individuals and establishments.
And then at the same time, the establishments have the right to stop patrons who are not adhering to this guidance to leave their establishments.
Another thing for certain is that no one wants to go back to where we were this time last year. Although Mbakwe says we are still on the path for reopening the island on May 1st.
Right now, we're not on the path to a surge. We're on a path to vaccination and getting the island ready for reopening. So we just need to assure people that if they continue following public health guidance, which is wearing their face mask properly, washing their hands, and also keeping safe distance, we'll be able to come out of this particular situation.
You can view Mbakwe's full interview with KUAM on our YouTube page. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Adriana Cotero.
Private clinics have been mobilized in response to the new clusters. According to Dr. Hoa Wen with the Governor's Physicians Group, the American Medical Center will be offering free testing to anyone potentially exposed to the clusters. Dr. Wen echoes that it's a personal responsibility to eliminate the spread of COVID.
It's all a personal responsibility. There's always going to have a basketball game. There's always going to have an event that you can sing or you can join your family or friends. Always, you know, it's not the last one. So If you have any symptom, you just have to respect your friend, your colleague, and your community, and stay home and miss one event. It is not that big of a deal. We really ask for individuals to be responsible for their action and think about not themselves, but everyone around them.
A recent United Airlines flight landed on the island with one passenger receiving a positive COVID test result halfway through the flight. Public Health PIO Janela Carrera gives us an update.
If you've been keeping an eye on the island's COVID area risk score or CAR score, you've probably noticed a slight uptick. Recently, we've seen a rise in the number of positive COVID cases, which prompted Governor Lulian Guerrero to hold a press conference yesterday in which she urged the people of Guam to remain vigilant and continue to follow COVID safety protocols. And with the target reopening date of May 1st coming up at the end of next week, the concern of imported COVID cases has been on many people's minds, especially with the news of an individual testing positive for the virus just before touching down on island.
It was on a United flight last night from Honolulu. A passenger learned of the positive result mid-flight on his way to Guam. He met the passenger as soon as the flight landed. We took the passenger to our isolation facility. And we initiated our protocols.
Public Health PIO Janela Carrera says part of these protocols include a mandatory 14-day quarantine for passengers who sat within 3 rows of the positive case. But this particular case is just a fraction of the recently confirmed cases of the virus after clusters were identified from within the community.
Our concern is just ensuring that we can get in touch with all those who may have been potentially exposed. Ensuring that our team is capable of being able to offer the testing to everyone, because you are talking about a potential of over 1,000 people. We don't want this to be another case where it starts out with 1 or 2 or 3 cases and then balloons into something big and becomes another surge. This one is in the community, and hopefully this is something that we can contain.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Peter Santos.
Testimony was overwhelming, critical of the military's actions regarding an ancient burial site at Marine Base Guam Camp Laws. Senator Talina Nelson's Historic Preservation Committee held an oversight and community roundtable hearing last night on the status of Chamorro burial sites and remains. Among the many who testified was Bernadita Ugan Hernandez, who read off a long list of concerns. She said the military is using the regulatory process to usurp the Chamorro people's right to consent.
The blatant, total disrespect of my ancestors' cemeteries and their village homes is utterly unacceptable. It is an atrocity again, wherein today the physical destruction of the evidence of the existence of our Chamorro villages by the U.S. military is a continuation of the genocide committed by the colonizers of the 17th century, Spain.
As part of an agreement with Gov Guam and the State Historic Preservation Office to preserve cultural and historic artifacts, the military plans to build a monument at the ancient burial site. Acting Shippo Carlotta Leon Guerrero was invited to the hearing, but had previously advised the committee that she would not attend. Mandatory ethics training for classified Gov Guam employees was one of the bills discussed and sent to the voting file during legislative session today. Currently, only unclassified and elected officials are required to take ethics courses. The measure by Senator Sabina Perez would extend that to all public employees. It would also require ethics refresher training every 4 years.
Civil service and investing in and educating them about what the statutes are, and considering that they may be an employee in one area but might transition to a new position. So I think education is so important, and we see the positive benefits when we invest in the education of our people.
The ethics training would be coordinated by the Guam Ethics Commission. Session resumes on Monday. A proclamation presentation ceremony was held today at Adelup to express sympathies on the untimely death of former UMATIC Mayor Daniel Sanchez. Sanchez served from 2005 to 2009. Prior to his term, he was an officer with the Guam Police Department. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero spoke at the ceremony.
I come today here with the love and sympathy of a grateful people who are sharing in your grief and sorrow as we remember a well-respected defender and protector of law and order, a dedicated public servant, and a very proud son of Humata.
Sanchez was found bludgeoned and stabbed to death at the UMATIC home of murder suspect Rudy Kanata last week. Kanata and his girlfriend Joyner Sked have been charged in the slaying. The late Mayor Sanchez is survived by his 4 children. He was 63. Stick around for more news here on Primetime. You're watching KUAM.
While we've all been through a lot over the years,
typhoons, earthquakes, and now COVID-19,
we've been able to get through these together.
For more than 80 years, Cabell's Insurance has been protecting your homes, your businesses,
and the health of your family.
We are here today and we'll be here tomorrow.
There are better days ahead. Tomorrow's a new day filled with hope and choices.
The possibilities of what we can achieve together are limitless.
Let's continue to work together to ensure a brighter tomorrow for all of us.
The thing about freedom is, freedom has no limits. There's no such thing as too many adventures or too many unforgettable moments. There will never be too many stories to write or too many memories to make. But when it comes to a vehicle that will be there for it all, there's only one. Jeep.
With Prism Home Wi-Fi, I'm not just getting smart Wi-Fi that adapts and delivers consistent speeds that cater to my lifestyle needs. I'm getting peace of mind with real-time online security that monitors every device on my network. Parental controls with the ability to filter age-appropriate content for my child. And with HomePass, I have full control over my network and so much more. Experience Wi-Fi and beyond with Prism Home Wi-Fi, powered by Plume HomePass.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
Welcome back. Thankfully, no students were on campus when teachers and staff at Untalan Middle School discovered that their campus had been broken into. The Wildcats are asking anyone with information to come forward. At 6:30 a.m. Friday morning, teachers and staff of Untalan Middle School found that 12 classrooms, along with offices and storage rooms, had been hit. Untalan Principal Agnes Guerrero.
As my staff had arrived, they had noticed a possible attempt break-in and immediately contact me.
Thankfully, nothing of major value was taken, but the school was left with signs of attempted entry, such as the door screw hinges being shaved off.
They tried to go into the classrooms, and of course, the windows had, broken into, and doors were open, left ajar.
GPD was contacted and arrived shortly after. Guerrero was unable to release the details of what the vandals took, but she did reveal that some personal items were stolen. With the campus being compared to a second home, she says they can't help but to feel like their space has been invaded, but they are resilient.
We just take on and accept what had happened, come together, and just come up with some possible solutions and moving forward and sticking together, being there for each other. And that's always been, how we are as a school. our culture.
The day was filled with meetings, which included the school safety committee and a PTA meeting later in the day to come up with solutions on how to build a stronger, more secure campus. Guerrero says they wish they could have a foot patrol, but the funding source just isn't there. A fence may surround the campus, but obviously that didn't stop the thieves. Guerrero is now calling on the eyes and ears of the community.
For those who are not residents of Barrigada, but in other villages, you're passing by the school, going to work late at night, early morning hours, whatever it may be, and you see anything suspicious, please call the Guam Police Department. You never know that you can be a witness to something that is about to occur.
With no security cameras at the campus, it's still unclear as to who may have broken in. And this isn't the first time this has happened. Just 2 years ago, staff members discovered the smell of smoke filling the campus, along with classrooms vandalized. And 5 years before that, about 12 classroom windows were smashed with what was assumed to be a hammer at the newly renovated school.
Even during this time, we're supposed to be helping each other, in a time of need and not, going against each other.
Guerrero concludes with a message to the perpetrators, quote, "When you break into the school, you're breaking into the homes of many of our faculty, staff, and students," unquote. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Guam Police Department. The man wanted by police relative to a Tamuning burglary investigation is still on the loose. The Guam Police Department issued a wanted flyer on Wednesday, April 21st for 33-year-old Eric Roy DeCastro. GPD is asking for the community's help to find DeCastro. He was last seen on Estrelita Street in Tamuning. He is described as a male Chamorro, light complexion, brown eyes, standing 5'9", weighing 195 pounds, with tattoos on his neck. Do not approach if spotted. If you have any information on the whereabouts of DeCastro, please contact the Criminal Investigation Section at 472-8911 or 475-8615. Information can also be submitted anonymously through the Guam Crime Stoppers at guam.crimestoppers web. Units from the Guam Fire Department, Anderson Air Force Base, and Department of Agriculture Forestry Division were hard at work earlier today. According to GFD spokesperson Sharika Chargaloff, at around 11:30 a.m., 911 received a call reporting a grass fire at Mount Santa Rosa Drive. Units arrived on scene 10 minutes later. In order for fire units to better assess the scene, the Guam Police Department closed off lanes on Route 15. Chargaloff says that the fire was under control at 2:08 p.m. The National Weather Service says both Guam and the CNMI are under the fire danger level extreme. With high winds, it can cause a faster spread of wildfires. Island residents are encouraged to refrain from burning. Chargaloff adds that this particular fire destroyed 15 to 20 acres. For Earth Month, Atkins Kroll Inc. has organized a project to collect used car batteries with the Mayor's Council of Guam, and it launched earlier this week. KUAM's Isaiah Uggan has the report.
In efforts to keep our island's environment safe and clean, the Mayor's Council agreed to partner up with AK to gather used vehicle batteries. Each village mayor's office will receive $10 per battery turned into AK after the project wraps up in May. Mayor's Council of Guam President Jesse Alex says that the money provided will be used at the village mayor's discretion, whether it be for fuel, to service vehicles, maintenance, and bush cutting supplies. Alex wishes for a great turnout.
Batteries are, strewn all over the island in different places because they're real small and, they can hide in the jungles. And so we're hoping that residents will be able to, just come and speak with us and deliver their batteries to the offices instead of dumping them elsewhere.
Meanwhile, AK Business Development Director Ernie Galito says this partnership was organized to assist village mayors in maintaining our island environment.
To kind of promote not only sustainability but also recyclability. And so we'll be collecting all the batteries from the mayor's offices, and we'll send them to a collection center in the U.S. and they'll turn those batteries into discarded old batteries and recycle the parts, and hopefully they'll come back as brand new batteries on Guam.
With illegal dumping becoming a growing issue on Guam, Galito hopes this project will address that problem.
So this is our part of trying to bring awareness to recyclability for things such as car batteries, as well as protecting our island from any type of contaminants that might affect the water lens into public water.
Although the project is set to wind down in late May, AK's parts department will be accepting used car batteries Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Residents can drop off used batteries to their respective village mayor's office, but Mayor Alec advises that it's best to contact the mayor's office prior to dropping off. The last day to drop off batteries for northern villages is Thursday, May 20th, for central villages on Friday, May 21st, and on Saturday, May 22nd for southern villages. Reporting for Guam's News Network, Guahusi, Isaiah Uggan.
Coming up, Dave Delgado with sports, and still to come, we introduce you to the last finalist for the 2021 Teacher of the Year. Keep it here.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Mas.
Half a day. As we look ahead to a brighter tomorrow, Matson's commitment to Guam and Micronesia remains stronger than ever. While the world around us is ever-changing, what remains unchanged is our commitment to you, our customers, and the island communities we serve. Shipping is what we do best, and serving our community is at the heart of everything we do. But we don't do it alone. This is why we support organizations that make caring for the people and the environment a top priority. We know that many count on Matson's lifeline services in the Pacific, and that's why we continue to work hard to ensure that our shipments remain on time all the time. Matson recently added another Aloha-class vessel to our schedule. We now have two of Matson's largest and fastest ships serving Guam from the U.S. West Coast and Hawaii. With our new state-of-the-art vessels, we stand ready to support the region's economic recovery. Thank you for the privilege of serving you for the last 25 years, and you can count on Matson to be here for the next 25 years and beyond.
The closure of Dededo and Harmon Branch really is bittersweet.
I get a little sentimental, and just because I come from an era where, a brick and mortar is a symbol.
COVID-19 has forced us, I think, to make a lot of changes to how we operate.
But I think the upside to that is it's just a brief pause and we'll be back.
Our guiding star has always been the vision of our founder, which is to be the driving force for prosperity in the communities that we serve. But we also know that we need to bring that forward in a way that is relevant for the age that we're living in.
I feel that all these new things coming are a big indicator that we're here for you. We're here for our customers, our familia, and we're here to grow and learn every step of the way with you.
What's up, Guam? Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports. Thanks for watching. Tonight on the show, we catch up with ESA League Director Al Garrido. Garrido will be leaving his post and joining the staff over at GCC tonight. Al talks about his time helping start the GDOE program. Check it out.
I won't lie, it was tough at first. There was some reservations about the league in the beginning, and I have to admit that I was one and quite a few other people had some cautious feelings. Including our athletic directors. But after sitting down with the Superintendent John Fernandez, and Deputy Superintendent Joe Sanchez, I was given clear and simple instructions, which was pretty much make the league run and give enough games for teams to play. And another one would be, obviously,